Captain Elias Harlan guided the barge, christened Silent Voyager, down the meandering currents of the Mississippi River. The day had been long, and the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a soft orange glow across the water. Elias had been navigating these waters for years, and each night brought its own set of challenges. The crew was settling into their routines, some preparing for a well-deserved rest, while others manned their posts to ensure a smooth journey through the night. Elias, however, preferred the solitude of the captain's cabin during these quiet hours, with only the hum of the engine and the gentle lapping of the water against the barge to keep him company. As the night deepened, Elias sat in his worn leather chair, peering out through the cabin's windows. The moon cast a formless glow on the river, creating a silvery path that stretched into the distance. He marveled at the beauty of the night, the stillness that enveloped the vessel like a comforting shroud. Just as Elias was about to settle into the familiar comfort of his post, a movement caught his attention. At first, he dismissed it as a trick of the shadows playing on his fatigued mind. But then he saw it again, a flicker of movement along the riverbank. Curiosity gripped Elias as he squinted into the darkness, trying to discern the source of the disturbance. The only illumination came from the dim moonlight, revealing glimpses of the shoreline. It was then that he saw a figure, hunched and indistinct, moving along the edge of the river. Elias's brow furrowed in confusion. Who could be wandering the riverbank at this hour? The banks were mostly uninhabited, and any sign of life was a rarity in these remote stretches of the Mississippi. As the Silent Voyager continued its journey, Elias strained his eyes to get a better look. The figure seemed to be cloaked in shadows, its movements erratic yet purposeful. A shiver ran down Elias's spine, and a sense of unease settled over him. The captain rose from his chair, the worn wooden floor creaking beneath his weight. He made his way to the deck, scanning the riverbanks for any signs of the mysterious intruder. The crew, engrossed in their duties, remained oblivious to Elias's growing concern. The moonlight played tricks on Elias's eyes, casting eerie shapes and distorted shadows. Yet, as he continued to watch, a realization dawned upon him. There was something undeniably unsettling about the figure. It moved with a kind of grace, its silhouette elongated and unnaturally sinuous. As the Silent Voyager pressed on through the inky darkness, he lost sight of the figure, but couldn't shake the feeling that this night would not end well. He paced the deck, the rhythmic thud of his boots echoing in the quiet night. The river seemed to hold its breath, a thick fog rising from its surface, lending an eerie quality to the surroundings like the very air carried a weighty secret. As the captain's eyes again scoured the riverbank, a low murmur reached his ears, the soft, haunting sound of distant whispers. He strained to catch the words, but they remained elusive. The whispers seemed to dance on the edge of his consciousness, a spectral chorus that rose and fell with the gentle lap of the water against the barge. Elias called out to the crew, his voice cutting through the night. "Anyone else hear that? Whispers on the wind?" The crew exchanged puzzled glances, but shook their heads in unison. Elias couldn't be sure if the whispers were a figment of his imagination, or a prelude to something more sinister. Determined to unravel the mystery, he instructed a few crew members to join him on the deck. As they strained to listen, the whispers grew more distinct, taking on an unearthly cadence that sent shivers down their spines. It was as if the very river spoke in hushed tones, revealing secrets that defied the understanding of mortal men. The moon hung low in the sky, its reflection distorted by the rippling water. Elias, now accompanied by a handful of crew members, approached the edge of the barge, their eyes fixed, scouring the darkness. A sudden gust of wind swept through the night, carrying with it an otherworldly melody, a mournful tune that seemed to echo from the depths of the river itself. The crew exchanged uneasy glances, their nerves on edge. Elias gripped the railing, his gaze locked on the riverbank. Then, as if in response to the haunting melody, the figure reappeared, its form emerging from the darkness like a specter. Elias's heart quickened as he observed the figure more closely. It seemed to be composed of wisps of mist, its features indistinct yet undeniably humanoid. The whispers intensified, forming words that echoed with a strange, ancient resonance. Elias strained to comprehend the message carried by the voices, a sense of urgency gnawing at him. The figure beckoned, its insubstantial arms outstretched as if imploring the captain to follow. The figure on the riverbank seemed to pulse with otherworldly energy as Elias and his crew stared in awe and trepidation. The whispers on the water crescendoed into a haunting symphony, echoing through the night with a spectral resonance that reverberated within their very souls. Elias, compelled by an inexplicable force, leaned forward, his crew hesitating behind him. The figure's misty form undulated as if responding to the captain's movement. The whispers, now more coherent, wove a tale of ancient rites and forgotten lore, of a presence that had slumbered beneath the river's depths for centuries. A sense of foreboding hung heavy in the air, but Elias felt an irresistible pull, a magnetic force drawing him toward the mysterious entity. As it approached, gliding over the water, the mist surrounding the figure coalesced, revealing the semblance of a face, a visage that appeared human, yet carried an ageless wisdom etched in its features. The whispers revealed the story of the river, a narrative that transcended time and space. Elias listened intently, his eyes wide with a mixture of awe and trepidation. The river, it seemed, was a repository of ancient memories, a witness to events that predated even the oldest tales passed down through generations. The figure, now more defined, extended an incorporeal hand toward Elias, beckoning him to join in the river's sacred dance. A silent understanding passed between them, a connection that defied the boundaries of the tangible and the intangible. The crew, torn between curiosity and fear, watched as their captain hesitated at the precipice of a decision. The very air seemed charged with the weight of the revelations unfolding before them. The whispers, now more urgent, implored Elias to embrace the river's legacy, to become a keeper of its secrets. A sudden surge of courage propelled Elias forward, and he clasped the figure's misty hand. The moment their connection was forged, a surge of ancient knowledge coursed through him, like a river of memories flooding his consciousness. He glimpsed forgotten civilizations, witnessed the ebb and flow of empires, and understood the river as a conduit of both life and death. The whispers transformed into a melodic chant, resonating with the pulse of the Silent Voyager's engine. Elias, now an unwilling participant in a timeless ritual, felt the river's essence intertwining with his own as the hand let go. The crew, spellbound, watched as the captain became a vessel for the ancient energies that surged through the water and sky. Elias felt a sense of wonder, but the whispers on the water, once a pleasant hum, took on a discordant tone. The misty figure began to warp and distort. The crew, still on the deck, exchanged uneasy glances as the atmosphere shifted. The riverbanks darkened further, and darker shadows began to writhe along the water's edge. Elias, caught in the throes of the river's influence, felt a sudden chill as an ominous realization dawned upon him. The figure that had beckoned him was not the benevolent guardian it appeared to be. The ancient knowledge, initially a gift, now felt like a curse, as if the river sought to ensnare him in a web of its own making. A voice echoed in Elias's mind. "You have trespassed into realms you were never meant to see, Captain Elias Harlan." The figure transformed into a dark silhouette, revealing an entity far older and more sinister than Elias could have imagined. It spoke of betrayal and ancient vendettas, of a river that hungered for retribution. The crew, now gripped by fear, watched as Elias struggled against the unseen forces that sought to claim him. Understanding he had unwittingly become a pawn in a supernatural game, the river, once a source of ancient wisdom, now revealed a darker side, a side that demanded payment for the trespass into its secrets. The crew, realizing the peril they faced, worked hastily to alter the course of the Silent Voyager. But the river seemed to resist, its currents defying the efforts of the crew to change their heading. Elias, caught in a struggle between the mystical forces at play, grappled with a newfound understanding. He was entangled in a battle that transcended the mortal realm. As the barge sailed deeper into the heart of the river, an ominous fog enveloped the vessel. The once proud Silent Voyager became a ship lost in a netherworld between reality and the supernatural. Elias felt his panic surge as he tried to figure out a way out of the pact he'd been misled into forging with the spirit. The crew, equally alarmed, began to grow careless as they worked to hasten the ship's course. Amidst the chaos, a sudden cry pierced the air. One of the crewmates, a young sailor named Jasper, lost his footing on the slick deck and tumbled overboard. The crew's frantic shouts echoed Elias's own internal turmoil. The river, it seemed, had chosen its payment. Elias rushed to the railing, desperation etched across his face. The figure, now a solid form, extended its hand towards the fallen crewmate. The river's demand for retribution was clear, and the crew, paralyzed by fear, watched helplessly as Jasper struggled in the cold, murky waters. The malevolent entity spoke in a voice that seemed to emanate from the depths of the river itself. "One life for the trespass, Captain Elias Harlan. The river demands its due." Torn between loyalty to his crew and an understanding of the consequences, Elias hesitated for a moment that felt like an eternity. The shadows coiled around Jasper, and Elias knew that the river's wrath would not be quelled unless its toll was paid. With a heavy heart, Elias nodded, acknowledging the sacrifice that fate demanded. The misty figure, now looming over the water like a harbinger of doom, drew Jasper into its grasp. The crew's anguished cries filled the air as Elias watched, helpless, as his crewmate disappeared into the shadowy embrace. The fog lifted, and the dissonant whispers subsided, leaving behind an eerie silence. The river, sated with its payment, allowed the Silent Voyager to continue its journey. Elias, burdened with the weight of his choices, guided the barge through the now calm waters. The crew, though shaken and grieving, resumed their duties with a somber determination. The river, it seemed, had exacted its revenge, and the price paid was etched in the hearts of those who remained. As the Silent Voyager sailed into the night, Elias Harlan grappled with the haunting knowledge that the river's secrets were both a source of enlightenment and a harbinger of tragedy. The tale of that fateful night would echo in the minds of the crew, a reminder that the ancient forces that lurked in the depths demanded respect and, at times, a heavy toll.